So in this section, we're going to talk about what to do when your edrill hand tool doesn't work. We have the right electrode, we have the right program, and we have the right gun set up for this fastener cut. It's a simple high lock removal. We remove the fastener's top coat, and it's ready to cut out. Put my bushing over it, I'm going to insert the gun. We hear the edrill hand tool seeking the fastener, but the second it starts to cut, it turns off. There's a very simple logic path to follow when diagnosing a problem with your hand tool. Edrill needs a solid electrical connection and a solid steady source of water for the cut to begin. Without those two things, it's going to end prematurely. Edrill also needs you to hold it steady and hold the trigger during the entire cut. If you release the trigger, or if you're not holding the hand tool steady, you will get abnormal performance, which could cause a extremely short cut that ends prematurely, or an extremely long cut that seems out of the normal tolerances. If for some reason there's non-conductive material in the path of the electrode or the ground pin, in this case for the CG gun, that will interrupt your cut as well. You will see either a premature start or an excessively long cut that doesn't actually go to depth in the fastener. Another probable cause is your electrode not being tight. If your electrode is loose, you have a faulty connection and the edrill cycle will not work. And lastly, if your ground pin is not set to the right length and touching the fastener in the correct manner, your edrill cycle is not going to work. So let's start breaking down the most probable causes for this. So the first step, I'm going to look at the back of the edrill hand tool and see if there's an illuminated light. In this case, the light is red. That indicates either the trigger was released or it was undertime or overtime. You go to your system display, it's going to tell you in text what it was. In this case, it's an undertime warning. It could also be an overtime warning or a release of the trigger. My next step after reading the text display on the terminal is to check the overall condition for cleanliness and wear of the grounding pin, the electrode, and the work surface. In this case, there doesn't appear to be any debris built up in the working area. However, if there was, disassemble your equipment, wipe it down with a rag, and get it back to good working order. After I know that there's no debris clogging up the electrical path, I'm going to check the electrode for torque. In this case, I can simply unscrew the electrode, which means it was never installed tightly enough. That usually will solve your problem. Extend your electrode back out so it stops automatically. Take your electrode torquing wrench, install it over the electrode, and apply torque. After I do that, I'm not able to remove it by hand, and we should get back to work. Now, if it's not the electrode, we're going to check on the CG gun, the grounding pin condition. Especially, I'm going to look and see if the insulator sleeve on the end of the grounding pin has slid to the working area where the electrical contact is made. I'm going to look for metal debris that is built up on that. If I see metal debris, I'm going to take my ground pin gauge, use the diamond plated circle on it, and simply remove that built up debris. The last step is I'm going to check the length. In this case, the ground pin is not touching the go gauge on the ground pin setting tool. From here, I'm going to loosen the ground pin mating clamp by inserting a 2mm hex key into the hole. I'm going to gently free the ground pin, and using the ground pin set gauge, set the ground pin to where it touches the correct mark on the gauge. Following the set, I'm going to reapply torque to the mounting clamp, making sure not to apply excessive torque to where it would strip out the hardware. And I'm going to check the gauge again. In this case, the gauge fits snugly. I'm going to then apply gentle force and check the springing action. Following the check of the springing action, reinstall the gauge, and it fits snugly right where I set it. From here, simply reassemble your electrode, ensuring you apply the correct torque with the torquing donut. Once it clicks, reinstall your adapter and retract the electrode. Once you get a green light on the back of the gun indicating ready, re-engage your locating device over the fastener, install the hand tool into the locator, and finish your cut. In this case, we see the gun is returned back to normal operation. Get a green light. And then I'm going to test it by punching it out. Make sure that we have cut to depth. The fastener cleanly severs with one punch, and I'd say your edrill is ready to go back into service. Now, if that didn't correct your issue, please consult one of our other troubleshooting videos, the user's manual, or call us on the helpline.